Okay, so this is just another project I made. It's basically the base project. So we're going to try to move the assets over. So this is my new project, Backport Assets 2018. And here's the ones we were trying to move over. So first thing is I'll take this backport vegetation. I'm just going to copy that over to my asset folder. Let's leave an asset folder over in the base project and paste that there. So we have that backport vegetation. Now I need to get my assets from this forest. So this is where it gets a little trickier. Um, I'm going to take a little bit of a shortcut. It'll take us more time, but I'm going to copy the entire folder. Do not click Unity here because it'll update Unity and we don't want that to happen. But I'm going to copy the whole folder, then I'm going to delete things I don't want coming. So if we look here, it's going to take some time. It's a big thing. So let's see. So then we got to basically whack out a bunch of stuff after it comes over, um, so that it doesn't mess up our older version. Um, all right, so if we go into here, I don't think we need any of this stuff. And so if we do, then I'll find out pretty quickly. But I'm going to whack it out, delete it. The DE core, we do need this. The script. Actually, we shouldn't need. I'll leave the script there for now because it might be used for wind or something. Demos, we don't need any demos. Documentation could stay there. Let's go to assets. Now, prefabs, we don't want any prefabs. So we're going to actually delete out the prefab folder because those will break in the newer Unity. So we have our meshes, our materials, cube maps. Kind of tempted to delete these only because I don't want them to take up so much space, but I'll leave them. I'm going to leave them in the end. So we'll just see if that works. So basically we have our assets coming over, and then let's see what happens. So it's going to just update all this. This may take some time, so just be patient with me. Um, it's importing all the assets from the from the eucalyptus forest, and then what we're going to do actually is then open up our scene, and go from there. Yeah, that's the cube maps I didn't want to bring in. They take forever. Cube maps take longer than anything. So one of the things that I did in one of my projects is I installed like 75 skies, and don't do that. Look at the skies, figure out which ones you want somewhere else. Don't bring them all into your project. Skies take up more than anything. And to be honest, with advanced lighting, I don't even do mess with the default sky anymore. Generally speaking, I think advanced lighting makes enough of a nice view on other stuff that you're gonna wanna. It's I would just ignore your sky and use the advanced sky at this point. We used to put a lot of time into skies and Photoshop them and all kinds of stuff, but with the fact you lose a lot of the features of advanced lighting if you try to use a skybox, I wouldn't bother. Alright, sorry if this is going to take some time. You're going to be stuck listening to here. So what we're effectively doing now is moving all the assets over, and we have a scene that has all of those game objects in it that I unpacked. So we should be able to open up that scene, and because they're not prefabs, they won't be broken. The issue you have when you're using newer Unity prefabs is that the whole format of the prefab changed, which breaks the prefabs, and a lot of times it won't even load the asset in the editor. This one in particular wouldn't even work using the method people have used before with meshes, where you just import the meshes and ignore the prefabs, and then you create new prefabs from those meshes. This asset, for whatever reason, and I don't know why, wouldn't work that way. So this is the method I've used before. It doesn't require having a newer Unity version installed to get it going, but this should be this should give you guys an idea if you want to use newer assets. As always, spending money on newer assets is your own risk you're going to take. I've had good luck bringing stuff back. And then the other thing we may have an issue on is in this particular asset package, and hopefully I can get the GS Pro developers to add it. Is these are new shaders. We don't use these shaders for any other vegetation that I'm aware of, which means wind will most likely not work unless we get some scripts added to the game. Usually the developer's been real good about adding that, so I'm not terribly worried about it. And these are some nice vegetation, and the shaders they do use are they're used on multiple packages. So at some point it'll be good to get those added in for support on the main one. All right, come on. And again, I do recommend doing this not in your course, because then you're going to say, hey, I just destroyed my entire project. Do it somewhere else. Then you could copy and paste. Do it in a new Unity 2018 project. You probably didn't even need to use the base project. I did that just so I could have, some other stuff going on. Like we could use the camera and lighting from the base project, but I would do it in an empty project. In a new one. It could be base package, could not be. It depends on what you want to do. And then bring it back over the fixed prefabs and folders. Just copy them over, and that should work well in your course project. Or back up your course project prior to bringing it in, and you can work in your course project. I generally do that. I'll back up my actual course and then bring them in and try to make it work. All right, hopefully we're getting close here. It's importing small assets. And again, like a lot of what we do a lot of waiting around building courses for this kind of stuff. Let's see. Yep, almost done. This is not good, but hopefully that will not be a problem. Let's take a look. We do have some errors. This is a utility script. I don't think we need that one. Environmental utilities. I'm actually just going, dot utils? No, this one here. I'm just going to delete that script. I believe that's how I had to get this to work. So you're getting to see me working with, ironically, one of the harder packages to work. And again, yeah, I actually think I'm going to nuke all of these utilities. I'm trying to remember what I had to do. I may have deleted the entire scripts folder, but because we're not using a lot of this stuff. Let's delete tools, because it's not really related to the what we want, which is the vegetation. Just playing to try to make sure I don't have any other scripting errors. I went through this. I'm killing off some script stuff here, so now it's working. Play mode's working, so let's turn that off. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my asset folder, backport vegetation. We don't need to save that Unity file. And look, here's our vegetation, and they're all there. You can see they work, right? It's because we can actually see them, but they're not prefabs. So how do we get prefabs? Let's go to this DE environment, eucalyptus folder, and I'm going to right click this folder. I'll go into assets. Let's go into assets, right click, create folder, prefab underscore 2018. So now we go into 2018, and very easily you just drag these over. Now here's the other thing about it. This is actually probably a good time to do colliders if you wanted. So actually these have colliders. Oh shoot. Alright, so I didn't intend on going over it with this video, but you probably need to understand what you're working on with your different courses. So if we go here, if you look, there's a capsule collider as a thing on here. That will not work. So you're going to have to copy component, create capsule, paste component values. There's our capsule collider there. Remove the mesh render, remove the mesh filter, I think we can even get rid of that. You'd add in your GSP wood, and then we'd also rename this collision object, and I'm not positive my naming's right on this, so we're going to check a tree over here. So go here, here's one of my cheats I'll do. So I'll take the broadleaf, drag it out there, right? Collision object 0, that's how we need it to say, so we just go rename, Control C, copy. Now we can delete our broadleaf, go back to this, rename, Control V, paste. Now we have that collider there. We probably could add, we got to check here for other colliders. We don't want this collider here anymore, so we got to remove it off the LOD, remove it off the LOD, and remove it off the LOD, because we do not want colliders there. We probably need to add in a sphere collider. Sphere. I'm just doing this quick as one example of the stuff you would have to do, and I'm not going to make, this is not going to be perfect. Oops, not 34, 4, that's good enough. GSP leaves, and we're getting rid of the mesh render, getting rid of the mesh filter, and so all we have left is the collider, and that's not supposed to be a child object, so we're going to go here, rename, Control C, rename, Control V, object 1. Now then we could drag this over to our prefabs 2018 folder, and that one's actually a done tree with colliders, right? So now that you've done that, let's just pretend like we did it for all of them. Although I guess I could do a couple more here, right? I'm not going to edit the colliders. I showed you how to do one. That's not this video is not to train you on colliders, but to let you know you're going to have to do that work anyway, no matter what asset you are. You're going to have to add the colliders, things to look for. You saw what I added there, and so that should give you a good view. So I'm going to hit File, save this scene. We have our prefabs here. So what am I going to do now? I'm going to go to the John's default scene. I think this is the right one. Hopefully I opened the right one. So here's our sample scene. Let's try to go to the buildings, and now let's see if we could drag in our colliders, or not our colliders, our new trees, and let's plant some trees over here. Where's our prefabs we made? So here's the prefabs we made. Let's drag in. See, our trees are working. We got some nice eucalyptus trees that now work. And I don't know if I did grab the, see, these ones don't have the collider. I forget which one had it. Maybe it's the 5th one. That looks like it has the sphere, right? So that one's actually correct with the way the collisions have to be in GS Pro. But so you can see, I just got these eucalyptus trees working in our version of Unity. We can hit play, make sure it works with play mode, fly over there, and go there. I'm going to change this to, I like the free when I'm not checking stats, so we can make this a little bigger if we want, but hit M to toggle the movement, hold down shift, fly. We got to figure out where the heck I planted them. Where did he have that building at? I'm flying up, and I'm going to go look. There it is. Alright, so I'm making you sick by now probably, but you get the idea. Here's our eucalyptus trees right here. We just brought them from the newest Unity into our Unity, and as you can tell, it's working. Alright, hope you found that helpful.